Hello, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another Top Tip Tuesday on adhesives. And this week we are looking at Tear and Tape, a much underrated adhesive. Let me pop you down to the desk and we will take a look. So this, along with all the other adhesives, is on page 127 of your annual catalogue. Item 9, Tear and Tape adhesive, £6.75 or 8.5 euros. Strong adhesive with terrible paper backing for easy sticking. You get 27 yards or just short of 25 metres of tape. It's acid free, it's 1/4 of an inch or 6.4 millimetres wide. So let's have a look at what it can do. Now I've already put a couple of pieces down because I want to start by, well, actually I'll come back to that. So Tear and Tape does exactly what it says. It's tape and you can tear it. Really simple to apply. You can either tear off a piece and stick it down, as I've done there. I would always burnish before I then take the paper backing off. That way you are less likely to pull the adhesive up as well. Once the adhesive is down and stuck, it's down and stuck. So if I pop this piece of card on the top and just gently put it on place, I can just about twist it off. Twisting is always the preferable way of unsticking if you don't want to rip. If I press it down and burnish and then try and pull it off, I'm going to rip it. So great for boxes, all those sort of construction things. So if you need something that's going to have a strong adhesive, this is fantastic. I love it for putting ribbon onto the back of my cards. So if I'm wrapping ribbon round my cards and sticking it between two layers of cardstock, really good for putting over the ends. I do quite often use Seal Plus for that, although Seal Plus can be a little tricky with ribbon, but encapsulating a piece of ribbon with Tear and Tape, really great. Other things you can do with it, I mean, obviously you can just stick one piece of card to another as in a mat or layer, but so let me just peel this off. So this is one piece of, I thought I brought something out, obviously I haven't. Let's bring it out. So Tear and Tape and embossing powder. So let me grab some white embossing powder. This, by the way, is Magenta Madness card that I'm using up because we don't stock it anymore. Sad face. So let's just put that. Not great idea to bash your card with a spoon because it will dent it, as I've just discovered. Anyway, so I'm just going to flick the back to get off any loose bits of embossing powder. Bring in my trusty cheese board and a heat gun, and let's see what happens. Now obviously you can use any colour embossing powder. And there we have a beautiful, shiny, straight line of embossing powder, and it's that lovely shiny white. So that's one thing you can use it for. The other piece, don't need that for, what I do need is to plan these things better in advance, is my gold flakes, gold leaf. And if I pull the backing, don't talk too loudly over gold flakes. If you project too much, they fly everywhere. So if I take one of my sponges, so this is a piece of old stamping sponge, but I've also got a rougher sponge because that can be quite good for getting little bits off intricate areas of adhesive. So you can use this to really get in there. Let's try and leave the gold flakes behind, and then this is about a teaspoonful of gold flakes, and I've had it just a teaspoonful of gold flakes in that box forever. And there we go, lovely straight line of gold flakes. And depending on whether you've got little bits or a whole flake, depends on whether you get that solid shine or this more mottled vintage shine. So that's down to the flakes rather than the adhesive. So there's that. You can, if you want a straight line of ribbon, she says, trying to think of a word, you can use tear and tape for that. So if this is the soft succulent double-sided ribbon, what do we call it? Satin shimmer ribbon. So if I cut a piece of that, so if I wanted to stick this, say, underneath a die cut, so there was just a little bit poking out, I could take my ribbon, my tear and tape, tear a piece off and pop that on. Doesn't need to be straight because it's going to be hidden. And again, I would give it a really good burnish, particularly on fabric, so ribbon, because it is going to be less inclined to stick to fabric. But then if we just get in under there, famous last words, and then just peel that backing off and stick it down, and that's nicely attached. Now, being fabric, it will detach from tear and tape if you really give it a hard tug, but it's going to be a nice strong adhesive for you. I mean, the same as something like Seal Plus would be. So again, let's take another piece of the ribbon and pop that over the top. So that's great. Sometimes Seal Plus doesn't like to, of course it will do this time, doesn't like to stick to ribbon. It has in this case, so I could then encapsulate that for wrapping around the back of a card. So if this was capturing it between two bits of card. But we're looking at tear and tape this week, so there we go, nice piece of ribbon stuck down. You can use it for embellishments. So if we've got some of these holly leaves which have come back for the July catalogue, you could use it, July-December catalogue I should say, you could put a little bit of tear and tape on the back of that. Obviously it's, you know, it's small. Personally, if I was going to use a dry adhesive, I would use a glue dot, but it is possible. So we can take that and just, you know, stick that on top of our ribbon, for example, and that's nicely stuck down. So lots and lots of uses. It's a dry adhesive, so it's really safe on paper, really safe on card, and really there's not much else I can say about it. It's a very good, very strong, acid-free, great for memory keeping, controllable adhesive. So yeah, there we are with our tear and tape. Now, next week we are going to look at, I don't know what yet, I haven't decided. Possibly I'm going to look at all dimensionals. I'm going to put them together because there's not much you can say about a dimensional other than it's dimensional. So I think we'll look at black, mini, standard size dimensionals. So I look forward to seeing you then. Let me just flip the camera so I can see you properly. So I hope you found that helpful. If you're watching and you've got any questions, do leave those below the description bar. Just make sure it's obvious what you're talking about so I know how to answer your question. And other than that, I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.